Very good. Well, welcome to Satsang, everyone, and welcome to Satsang to all the friends that are watching around the world. And as always, or as the last times, there will be the possibility in the field of comments. If you're watching us online, you can comment or ask questions or share something, and we have beautiful Steve here who will read whatever is necessary to be heard. And I don't have the answer for everything, but maybe there can be some inspiration through your sharing and through your questions. For the friends who are new here, is there anyone new here? No, so that's good. We will start with a silent sitting, and then eventually maybe 15-20 minutes. So we kind of dive in, and in this sitting a little reminder that you don't have to be a good meditator. It doesn't exist. Either you are here allowing everything to be as it is, that's called meditation. And if you're not here, even that, when you become aware that you're not here, then you're here again, and it's also meditation. So you cannot win and you cannot succeed in meditation. You can just allow everything to be as it is. Allowing, if the mind is wild, let the mind do its thing. It's not your business. You are that in which the mind happens. If emotions are running, let them run. Don't try to change them. If the body has sensations, let the sensations be there. Just let everything be as it is. Angela, can I ask you a favor? Can you turn both of these buttons to the right, because then it doesn't blink, because it's LED, and yeah, just turn it all the way up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, otherwise it blinks. It's a bit bright, but we are in the light here, no? So
It's good for the filming.
Yeah. So, in a way, we dive deep in, and then, you know, how when those of you who are divers, eventually you go up and take a breath. So, at a certain point, we come up, back into, you know, the body, into the story of now, and then maybe there's a little talk, or maybe we sing a mantra first. Let's see what happens. And then we have a little dialogue or questions and answers if anything comes up. And then we move into a deeper meditation. Okay? So you can close your eyes and just be here. Good if the spine is relatively upright, so that we can stay awake, even though that meditation is very close to sleep. It's close to that place, because each evening we allow everything to be as it is, otherwise sleep wouldn't find us. And it's the same with meditation. We allow everything to be as it is. Just this time, there's a subtle flame of wakefulness. And I'm going to light the light of the candle today for just being here. And gently take a deeper breath and become aware of the body again. And just finding a good moment to open your eyes to a completely new moment here. Maybe it's a good moment to chant something.
I want to chant to Shiva.
To Shiva, yay.
Transformational powers of Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya.
The transformational power of Shiva. I repeat it so that they hear it here. Shivaya, Om Namah 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 Shivaya. Beautiful. Thank you. Mm. When I hear this Om Namah Shivaya, it reminds me so much of a place in India, in Khajuraho. I don't know if anybody has ever been to Khajuraho. It's this place with these tantric temples where all these wonderful statues are on the outside in all positions of taking care of the body, of love-making, of tenderness, of sensuality. Very beautiful. And when I was sitting here in meditation, sometimes I wonder, what do we talk about today? What's the topic today? And for me, what came is surrender. And surrender in a time where, we are in an amazing time where we can surrender, we can struggle, we can argue, we can fight, we can do all sorts of things to be against what's happening with COVID-19 and with the lockdowns and with the different ideas of different countries that kind of create a lot of turmoil for people. And with this mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, I saw this huge Shiva lingam, this kind of, I don't know if you're familiar, if you haven't been to India, the Shiva lingam is kind of a symbol of the male phallus, of the male energy, and it sits in the yoni, it sits in this beautiful, open, feminine principle. But the active principle is like Shiva. Shiva is kind of the action, the movement. And I don't know about you, but somehow I'm kind of a more active person, so I love to do things, I love to move into action. And if there's nothing else to do, like usually I'm traveling, and then there's so many things that are happening through traveling. Now when I'm here, I repair all sorts of things, and I cut trees, or have friends cut trees, and do fire firewood and all these things. And you have heard the famous saying, before awakening, chopping wood and taking water from the well, and after awakening, chopping wood and taking water from the well. So everything stays the same except one aspect. And the aspect is before there is a me, there's a doer, there is a goal, there is something to be achieved for the ego, so that the ego can feel gratified. And after, the same thing happens, but it has no purpose. It's a surrender to the energy that wants to live through you. And I think after waking up, after realizing, after discovering, after having a glimpse of who we truly are. And I'm sure many of you had many glimpses of what is the real me. And it, of course, can never be said, but when we go deep enough, even now when we were just sitting in silence, some of us were just disappearing. I was gone. I don't know where I was, but I was in what I call no thing, or no body, or no thought, or no, it's more like no, nothing. And that nothing is really the source for everything, the source for all action. When I first came to Pune in 1980 and I heard Osho talk about surrender, all my red flags came up. I said, come on, I'm not here to surrender to anybody. Yeah. And I totally misunderstood what it means. I thought surrender means you have to lose in a battle. And who wants to lose in a battle? And then surrendering to a person. In this case, Osho, he even asked, or he said, if you surrender to me, you're free. What I didn't understand is that there was no me. That Osho is a presence, or has been a presence for us to tickle us out of the sense of me. And today the word surrender for me is really these moments where the mind doesn't have any opposition to anything, which means then it loses its power and something else appears, which is much more real, which is we are here, we are present. There's no other moment than this one. There's no later than now. There's no past. And I think in this time where so many people from their personality point of view are losing a lot of identity through losing their job, through losing money, through not knowing how they can feed their family, there's a big amount of suffering happening when, as long as we believe that we are the doer. And I include myself, of course, also. I'm in a situation where I would actually travel in 2 weeks to Europe for courses, but the government doesn't answer my request. So I have moments of surrender, and I'm very happy to be here. And then I have moments where I want to do something. So even though I know I'm in this way I'm totally powerless, but I want to at least call them and say, hey, what's happening? And they just don't answer. And then then comes a space of powerlessness, and then comes a space of relaxation, and then comes a space of let go, and I call that surrender. This situation is in principle, it's the same situation everybody is in at every moment in time. We never know what's going to happen the next moment. And when we surrender to this, then we are here. We are in this moment. We are in the unknown, because this moment cannot be known. It can only be lived. It can only be experienced. It can only flow through us. And when it flows through us, it's joy. So the question in this is also, what is it that actually brings about happiness? Because in some constitutions, I think in the American Constitution, the right for happiness is in the Constitution. Funny, no? But what makes us happy? And there, I think we can really look. Does anything that we try to achieve make us happy? Then we are in the grip of becoming, in the grip of success and failure, in the grip of the egoic structure. And then probably many of us, during the lockdown at least, had moments where there was absolutely nothing to do. Did anybody get happy? Yeah? Now, that's not logical, because the mind looks for achievement, looks for a later, looks for something to get. And then maybe I'm happy. And then we have these meetings in society called birthday, Christmas, family gatherings, Thanksgiving, where everybody wants to be more happy, and it's usually the breeding ground for the biggest pain body situation in the year, where the personalities of family and friends perhaps clash, because we're looking for something that is actually our nature. This is why the big fat Buddha in China laughs. He's happy for no reason. So surrender. For me, meditation is surrender. It's like we let everything be as it is. Everything is already as it is. And it keeps changing. It keeps bringing new flowers. It keeps bringing spontaneous actions. It keeps bringing all sorts of things. And yet there's nobody that does it.
I think that happiness is the absence of resistance.
You think that happiness is the absence of the resistance? Yes.
It's my experience.
Yeah, it's true. It's my experience too.
Yeah. I was just thinking, because today my son was putting up a shelf for me, and you know the relationship with mothers and sons.
Yes.
And so I said one word wrong in his mind, and he just lost it. But I was fully happy, because I wasn't in any resistance to him losing it. I wasn't in any resistance to what I said. There was no resistance, and it was like watching a movie. it's just like, okay, this is what's happening now. And not even that thought, I'm just saying it later. That's it. When there's resistance, unhappiness definitely comes.
Yeah. Steve wrote a beautiful book. It's actually here. Inner Sky, Life Begins When Resistance Ends. You need to read it, it's beautiful.
I just didn't know that was the title. I don't remember things like that.
Anything to... Steve has his hand up.
From somewhere in the world.
Somewhere in the world.
Sunita Kernel.
Oh, Kenita. Hi, Kenita. Dear friend Kenita. Kenita and her husband Bhakti.
Yes.
Bhakta.
As you talked about the pain body, she has a question about the pain body.
Yes.
She says, I'm so stuck in my pain body. It's mostly about my and Bhukta's relationship, as you know.
That's right.
Wink,
Bhakta.
Can you please talk about the pain body?
Kenita, come on. Kenita and Bhakta, they have been organizing the Tantra for couples for me, for Nura and me for ages. And Kenita, I'm sure you're laughing right now because that topic and the pain body with your beloved Bhakta is kind of what keeps you alive, right? What keeps you kind of moving, what keeps you kind of energized. We call it pain body because, you know, in a close relationship, people push each other's buttons. And do you have that? No. Yeah. And, you know, and then there's peaceful moments, and then there's porco miseria moments. You know, in Italy, then it becomes really dramatic. And mamma mia, and che facciamo adesso? So, Kenita.
She's laughing.
There is a habit, I think it's beautiful that you ask, because if we really don't know anymore who we are, and all the spiritual search becomes kind of boring because there's nothing to find anymore, you can really beautifully go back to some old pain to exist again. Anybody does that? It's like just when there's nothing exciting or nothing dramatic happening, and if you have a dramatic nature, Kenita, then of course husband is the best situation for anything that looks like an old wound. And especially when we have done a lot of therapy, when we have done, you know, all sorts of processes to clear your childhood and to work on your traumas and to do all the right things to become a better person. Then, you know, then when there's no drama, then we don't exist anymore. So I have a long teaching about the pain body in the Counseling from the Heart. I'm not going to go into this, but Kenita, you heard it many, many times. So you want to hear it again. No? It's like pain body thrives through many things. Pain body thrives through believing your old beliefs. Any belief is a limitation. The positive beliefs a little less than the negative beliefs, but the beliefs create our identity. So if you have a negative belief about yourself or about somebody else, that creates a person, a me, against you. And then if we go further down into the heart, when the heart is covered and when our heart is closed, then we live in shoulds and should nots, in ideals and their shadow. Anybody has ideals? How we should be, how you should be in this moment, how you should perform, or especially how your husband should be. Kinita, Bhakta, no? And Bhakta is laughing also. I can see that. No? That it must be somebody's fault because the other should be different. Good luck. With yourself, you try to be different, which is kind of screwing yourself up and makes you miserable. But with others, it's more. No? Because you cannot change anybody else, even though, I mean, men give up earlier than women in changing their partner, right? In wanting to change their partner. So, I know, I realize, Kenita, you haven't given up changing beloved Bhakta. But it's entertaining. So, ideals, and then to support the ideals, which are actually childhood things. No? It's like we are still looking for gold stars. If I live how I should be, the secondary gain is some approval from somebody. Anybody looking for approval? Little bit still? Not anymore? Oh, lucky. No? Love me, love me, love me. This is a kid in us that can never ever get enough love because it started somewhere in the beginning after birth. No? And then we can go back to this child forever. So then at a certain point when we've done enough work, I think it's very helpful to realize that pain body, as Kenita shares so beautiful, is an addiction. It's the addiction to pain. Because without the pain we wouldn't exist. And then also it makes us feel I exist because we can use all the strategies from the third chakra. So beliefs, like identity, beliefs, ideals and their shadow, and then comes all the strategies to stay separate, and the ego is happy. I think we talked about this last week. No? What are the strategies? Comparison, competition, judgment, blame, superiority, inferiority, the whole game that everybody plays keeps us separate. And it keeps us busy and it hurts, but we want that, otherwise we don't exist. No? And then of course it affects the emotional body and we are hurting. No? And how many times are you following an old thought that is painful and you believe it and it has nothing to do with now, but you follow it so that you have a drama? Are you with me? Is anybody doing that, or am I fantasizing? Yeah? No? And it's an automatic mechanism, and it affects the body. And this is the beauty about that consciousness in this moment has a body. No? If you begin to feel that your body tenses up, that your heart shrinks, that your belly gets tight, that your first chakra holds. What just came is then you have to make love to open the first chakra. But not everybody can make love because maybe you don't have a partner or you don't have the possibility of merging and melting. But if you meet your body sensations and allow yourself to feel it and drop all the idea that it should be different, that you should not feel pain or that you should be more happy, then something happens that the mind overlooks all the time because it doesn't want it. One moment of oneness with any experience, not thought. Thought is endless. But experience, emotion, hurt, feeling, one moment of oneness with it is the end of it. Anybody has experienced that? Yeah, it's like sometimes the pain is so incredible that you have to surrender. You can only surrender to it, and suddenly it's gone. And that is somehow the practice. So that's one practice when the pain is already there. But I would suggest a more, if you like, a more liberating practice. When you find yourself thinking negatively, thinking in terms of what happened to you in the past, that's an endless journey. Shift your attention to now. Shift your attention to that which is right here, right now. And you will see the present moment is always more gentle than anything we can think about. And then from there, we can somehow, how to say this, it's all vibration, we can lift the vibration. I remember, anybody remember Sudha, Black Sudha? Sudha was an amazing therapist. No? She was kind of incredible. Small, black, and ruthless. No? She was absolutely wild. Everybody was scared like hell because she would just don't let anything of bullshit through. She would just cut your head. And then when somebody was in a drama, she said, "Get out, run 3 times around the block and come back." And everything has changed. The person was and there was some humor coming in. So we have the power to shift our energy, and this is why these days we do a lot of heart meditations. It's like shift your attention from your hurt first chakra, from your hurt emotions, from your tensions of new strategies to the heart. Just shift your attention. And the strange thing is then the energy that normally kind of keeps us in survival changes. It lifts, and the vibrational field lifts. This is why chanting, for example, it's just a wonderful thing. You just open your throat and chant, and usually the chants are addressing some higher vibrational energies, like Shiva or Devi or Guruji or Osho. I mean, we have so many reference points of people or qualities that we adore, we enjoy, that lift us. And especially in COVID-19, it's very helpful to shift your attention. If you want to be miserable, open the news. There's enough misery there. But here now, Thank you, Kinita. Blessings to you. So I know it's daytime in Sweden. I don't know what time it is, but it's early afternoon, so after lunch lovemaking, you too. Okay? Resting in each other. Remember? Resting. Don't go for the big, don't go for the big ecstatic orgasm. No, just slow, resting, feeling present. You know how to do this. You heard it so many times in Bali. You did it so many times. So shift the energy. See, this is something actually very beautiful that Nura and I had tried. When one of us was awake enough to suggest that, and the other was grumpy, then we made an arrangement that, okay, if one of us catches it and says, hey, shall we make love? You have to say yes. You have to just say yes, even if you don't feel like it. And then you don't stick it in right away. You just rest with each other. You cuddle with each other. You caress each other. You're present to each other. And then you let the lingam rest in the yoni, and it's so beautiful. Who wants to suffer then? Hmm? Okay, can you do this personally for you? Shall we take a deep breath on that one? Do you have anything to share from your own experience in this regard or other regards? Or anybody around the world, anything to say? Steve, come. Hey, brother.
Hello.
So you all see Steve. You need to move a little bit closer to me, otherwise I don't see you here. Good.
So, I thought I'd finish the story.
Good. Good. So can you give a kind of short introduction version so that they know what you finished?
So last week, we talked about 2 weeks earlier, you said, you can do therapy all your life. Or, we think, once I deal with my issue with my mother, I'll be free, know. And in that moment, I had an issue with my family, which is, a big drama for a lot of people, particularly my brothers, one brother out of two brothers. And I just thought, once I send this document off to America, I'm done with the estate.
All right.
I'm done with my brother, and I'm free.
All right, I remember.
And so what happened was, I rushed to Federal Express in Burley Heads, and I send this document off. It's worth $100,000, right? So this is the final thing in the estate. Federal Express, they can't lose it. I was at Federal Express in Memphis, the big sorting facility. It's all mechanical. Nothing can get lost. Nothing can go wrong. It cost me $100 to make sure it's there on Monday morning.
No.
It gets there by Wednesday. This is 7 days later. I'm watching. It's on the truck. It gets there. And then the guy's ready to deliver it, and I scan it, and they said, no, this didn't clear customs, bring it back. Right? So so you talk about surrender, and you talk about working with the government. So all these big companies in America, they're all in COVID-19, and nobody's working there. They're all at home.
Oh.
Right? So I call, and I'm like...
Hours.
And I get somebody in the Philippines with a chicken squeaking in the background. And they're like... I'm like, look, I need to expedite this. This needs to, boom, boom, boom. Mr. Lair, are you calling from the States? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm calling from Australia. Oh, I'm sorry. We cannot create a case for you. And it was just like this after this after this, and nobody would take responsibility. And they go, every day it would be like, oh, Mr. Lair, we're so sorry. But it just hasn't cleared customs. And I can see it sitting in Detroit, right? There's no customs in Detroit. Nobody would take responsibility, and so. And then what I talked about last week was what my interest is about how we're manifesting from, and you said it, our beliefs. They're creating our identity. And then whatever's in our heart space, this is what I'm learning more and more about. Like, things are manifesting so quick. Whatever's in our heart space is what we're putting into the field, and it's manifesting. Unless you talked about it that in an energetic way, how we're putting this out there. And I said, I know I manifested this. That, and this thing was supposed to be there in 3 days. And after 12, 13 days, still... I'm sorry, Mr. Layer. No, I'll get to what happened.
Okay. Deep breath.
So I want to talk about surrender and beliefs and identities. So what happened was, I was here last Friday, then Saturday, same story with FedEx. Something happened. I went to sleep, had a deep, deep sleep, and I woke up 10 hours later. And in my first waking up, it was like, maybe I can let it go. Right? Maybe I can forget it. Because what you said was, 2 weeks ago, what you said was, you can do therapy all your life, but there's still going to be this memory thing. And if you keep bringing that up, these weren't your exact words, but the mind doesn't, as you usually say, the mind doesn't know the difference between a thought and reality. So you recreate it. The mind doesn't know it's not now, and you relive it. And so what happened was Sunday morning I wake up and it's like, maybe I can just let it go. Like, these core identities I've held on to all my life, right? So I just get up, I'm like, I'm going to I just feel like having a meditation right off. And I just sit down there and I'm just quiet. And I just go, no, I'm going to journal. And I just started writing whatever came, and it was like, I give permission, blah, 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 to let go of all the patterns, identities, beliefs, stories that are really no longer true because they're just from the past. And then what I was journaling is, I just wrote a title like beliefs, and then I wrote all the beliefs that are still very active right now. Like, my brother's a narcissist, and he wants to kill me, and boom, 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 everything about relationships, women, all sorts of stuff. Well, this. Then I did it for, my story, the main stories that I'm doing. So there was like a page of stories, a page of beliefs. And then it came down to my identities. And what came up was like, there was 2 identities that I was really attached to, and every belief and story would fall under these things. And it was like, they're very common. I'm a victim. I'm a settled victim.
Anybody
Not even a settled victim.
Anybody a victim?
A victim? The victim thing?
The victim?
Right?
Yeah.
I won't go into the detail of that. And then the other one, I'm not good enough. Right? And then all these beliefs, all these patterns, but those are the 2 main things. And it all came down to that. And it was like, and I just kind of went back, and I was in such a beautiful space, and I just called in my divine, and I called in my higher self, I called in myself, I gave myself permission to actually release these, and I read every single one out loud, verbally, and as I read each one, I could see how false it was, like how unbelievable false it was, and then I drop it, or I let it go, and then, like, I'm getting chills again right now, and it was super powerful, and it was like when I was done, I just went into a quiet space, and I really feel like it's gone. Which is a different kind of surrender. I don't know. So I'm talking to my buddy, one of my buddies, and I'm like, this is what happened. I feel so different, and had a really wonderful day, and I'm like, oh wow, you can just drop it. Like, it's really true. So, the next day I'm like, well, I'm no longer a victim, am I? So, especially to my family. So I said, I'm going to write to my brothers and tell them this money's gone to the States and you're going to get a check for, 30 grand or whatever it is within about 8 days. Right? And I'm like, cool. Because usually I'm a little bit resistant because one can be trouble. One of the brothers can be quite trouble, even though he's getting money, right? So I go to sleep that night. Tuesday morning I wake up. There's 5 messages from my other brother. And I'm reading his messages on WhatsApp, and it's like, I can't believe he's saying this, and he's so irate, and da-da-da-da, and he's calling us a thief, and, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay. I just got up. And so my brother calls me. He's like, did you read your emails? I'm like, no, I just got up. I'm having a cup of tea. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to read these emails. So there was like this, so it was a test, basically. So there was this kind of little bit of resistance, a little bit of triggering, not too much. And then I said, okay, I'm going to read these emails. This is from the other brother. The first email, so he got my email, which said he's going to get this money in 8 days. And he just said, thank you. Right? Second email was more aggressive. 3 or 4 hours later, aggressive, blaming, and he was unhappy that he had to pay tax. Right? Another hour later, third email, no, he's just blaming and not happy, and you need to fix this up, and you've done it all wrong. Right? So I just went silent, and then I could feel this in the second chakra, and then I just sat with that for not too long, 5 minutes, and it was kind of dissipating. And then I just stayed in silence. But what I saw was this: what a beautiful human mind play that was. So right off, thank you. That's authentic. 4 hours later, the thinking mind is going analyzing. Egoic response. Another hour later, right? So I saw it wasn't him. It's this.
Yeah, it's this old story.
It's the old story. Yeah. And everything, I was totally clear. It was like, and I didn't respond. I didn't need to respond. I felt I didn't need to respond.
So what about this package?
So.
You want to know the end result.
I want to know the end.
You want the practical end
So that was, sorry if that's too long, but so that was the, what day was that? Tuesday. So Wednesday, the package gets delivered. And then
amazing.
And then it was supposed to take 8 days to clear, and then it gets cleared in 2 days. Well, it's going to be cleared in 2 days. So
amazing.
So that's what happens, when the story goes.
You give me hope. My deadline is on the 30th.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Anyway, so that's the story.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean it's incredible. No?
Yeah.
The moment we let go, the me cannot let go, but the moment the let go happens, it happens. It's beyond
and it's
you.
In here. It's like.
Then the whole existence is free to fall into place.
Yeah.
That's a whole manifestation thing.
Yeah.
No?
Exactly.
But it's not me manifesting. The me cannot manifest. The me is the very hindrance of manifestation. And yet I call it the space, the space of our inner being is already free, and it is 360 degrees open. No? We just limit our life according to a small little piece of this. Yay! Great.
You're next.
Well, I don't know. I'm open for both. It's like I'm open to travel, and I'm open to be here. I like the idea to actually be here. But I like the idea to travel too. Yeah. Shall we have a...
I want to ask you.
Yes, please.
Because there's somebody
Come
watching
here.
this will help. Oh.
Come
I
here.
don't like going up there because I don't have any makeup on.
Oh, no makeup. That is a catastrophe. That's a catastrophe. So, but they need to see you. This is Pavita.
So you spoke earlier about people wanting approval.
Yeah.
So
Let's check, reality check. Who loves approval? Who likes to be approved? Who likes to be praised or you know? Yeah, it's human. No?
Exactly. So what came up for me, and it came up when you said who wants approval before, and a few people in the room were like, well, I'm past that sort of thing, and that's fair enough. I'm most of the time okay whether I get it or not. But there are a few people in my life who don't want approval, or they say they don't want approval.
They say they don't want
They
approval.
don't want approval, or they say they're past that. But they also, what I observe is that they don't give approval. So I just wanted to open that up a little bit, because it's like, if I'm in a relationship with you, let's just say we're not. Just to be very clear, we're not. No, but just let's say we're in a relationship, and just there's usually one partner that's a little bit more needy than the other, especially when person's meeting person, and it's not just presence meeting presence. So one person wants approval, and the other person is fairly more confident in themselves, let's just say. But the one that's more confident in themselves is not necessarily giving approval or giving to the other. So I just wanted to open that up, because there's a couple who are friends of mine in Melbourne who are watching this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say their names, but hi. Now that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
And it's the exact dynamic between them.
Yeah.
And he can't see that in not accepting her as she is, in not giving any approval, it's not helping the whole picture.
It's a good question. It's an interesting thing. Yeah, I think that's very interesting. Okay, there's a few different layers in this. No?
Indeed.
There is the male and the female. No? And
and by the way, sorry, just to interrupt, the male who won't give approval because he believes he's just consciousness. He's just love and consciousness.
Yeah.
So why should love and consciousness give approval? Love and consciousness doesn't give anything, it's just here.
Yeah.
I just thought I'll just add that bit.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah, well, you add it with a certain quality of yeah, you know, it's like it's not totally neutral.
They could become ex-clients.
Okay, so there's different dimensions of it. There's the male and female dimension, and male energy, among many other ways, thrive through challenge. Yeah. But female energy thrives through approval, through you know, through praise. No? At least this is what I heard. No? No? So on that level, I think it's not just this beautiful couple you're talking about. On that level, the male, if he's not conscious about the feminine nature, he will say, why should I approve her? I'm consciousness. It's not arrogant, it's just because male would probably tease her or kind of challenge her if he doesn't understand these polarities. No? And then there's another layer where it may be totally true that if I'm totally present, presence is so much more than approval or disapproval. Presence, this is for you, dear man. No? If you're really present to your woman, she will not nag. Right? Women? Or maybe she will nag, but it doesn't matter then.
But hang on, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because if you're if you're present,
Yeah.
What am I wanting to say? It's like you're saying that if the man is present, the woman will stop nagging. What about the reverse?
Yeah, and if the woman is present
and open,
and open,
the man will give more?
If the woman is receptive,
yeah, okay.
If the woman is open and ready to receive, and the man actually sees her, it's a little bit more difficult from that side.
I see.
No? Because woman from the essence is more love, and man from the essence is more presence. And so woman relaxes when the man is present, and man, I mean, if I look at myself, if my woman is love,
you relax.
Yeah, I become present.
Yeah.
So if you expect or demand whatever I'm just saying from the other, it's totally hopeless. If I demand, if I'm present, but then I want you to be loving because you are the feminine, impossible. Maybe you just have your period, or you just, or something else happens. It's impossible. No? But I look at myself. My reality is also I don't praise too much, but I love to be real. I love to give real food, not because I know that women want to be praised. This is a more superficial thing. No? But if I'm present, and more and more, can I be present to my shadow too, even with my beloved? Can I be present to my irritation, can I be present to impatience, for example? No? And
how does nagging or dismissing, or all the things that we do as women, like we nag you, or we dismiss you and want space from you, or whatever, or we're not interested in you, how does that affect you as a man? How does
it freaks me out.
Right.
It freaks.
So on the flip side of what I'm talking about, for my friends in Melbourne, the flip side of it I'm interested too is...
Yeah, if the woman is not happy because the man doesn't praise her,
or because he's not showing up,
or if she blames him, he freaks out. He wants to kind of escape. He wants to go into his cave and sort it out for himself.
Right.
And of course, then, if you have done some spiritual work, you can easily do spiritual bypassing. Oh, I know who I am. I'm pure consciousness. What do you want? You know? And that's, of course, that's horrible. Yeah. No? And there, I think women are quite good to catch when the male ego plays enlightened, or when the man is really there. And that, dear man, I include myself, we never stop learning to allow the feedback. But not as, it's such a mystery, you know. It's like you can never do the right thing. You can only be present to exactly what is here now. You know? And if I freak out, I freak out. Oh, you know. When the woman gets emotional, man wants to run. That's just how it is.
I mean, I must say, even though it's not an intimate or sexual relationship, that story I told earlier about myself and my son, what I noticed was when he got aggressive and said nasty things, although there was a wave of pain that went through the body and emotion and a few tears that came, there was no identification with it in that moment. It was just witnessed or watched from a far behind place. But the interesting thing was, as I allowed that and just witnessed and watched it, he became really present. And he stopped in his tracks and he said, "Mum, I'm sorry," which is rare. You know,
great.
that's actually rare. So that's the other
That's
dynamic
the best
that I
feedback.
start to observe so much more in my own life, is that when I don't hemorrhage the energy out and I just turn around and look back here and just check, and no matter what's happening, just say thank you or just be with it. And I'm back. It seems to reflect from out externally as well.
Yeah, but you see, then for a moment, the polarities have changed. You are in the male, in the presence, and he is emotional, and you know, in the feminine, in the illogical. Even nastiness is an emotional outburst. You know, then if you're totally present to it, it doesn't hold.
But don't we? We all have male and female.
Yeah, of course. So. Yeah. And that's beautiful because you have such a, you know, old story with your son.
Yeah, it's been running for 27 years now.
Yeah.
It'll be 27 in August.
Oh my God.
Can you believe it? That little thing is
That
now
little-
27.
That's unbelievable. Well, my little thing is 40.
I know. He has his own little things.
And the little things opened a shop for you guys. No?
Rahasya, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
And all the best to this couple here. I think we have a nice mantra. Huh? You have something to chant?
Yeah.
Something around,
A love song.
yeah, Shiva Shakti or something. Anything.
The Govinda.
Govinda. Oh, you have a
I've
question?
got the last thing.
Okay, come.
Just the last one. Is that for your friends, Pravita in Melbourne, that for the woman, this is, from my own experiences, like, when I approve of myself, then the man who's there can like it or not like it, but if I'm happy with it, if I've made a red curry with lamb and vegetables and it's delicious and I'm happy with it, then if he says it's nice, that's great, but if he doesn't, that's okay too. You can't spend your life waiting for anyone's approval. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, but the curry was very nice. Govinda Radhe Radhe?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah.
Is this like call and response?
You know, and when you chant, don't worry about the words, don't worry about the melody, just kind of allow your heart to melt into this one energy. Hey, Govinda. Radhe, Radhe. Yes. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being with us, everyone. So, next Friday for sure. Again. And yeah, who knows? If you want to bring your harmonium again, if you want to come, you're very welcome. Otherwise, other things happen. Have a beautiful rest of the evening. And my grandkids opened a little shop out there. Oh, you. And my son opened a little shop here. If you want to have the best chai in the Shire, it's really fantastic chai. And the instructions are on the canister. So that's on this little table, these little canisters. You know?
You don't need much. It's really one spoon enough.
Yeah.
Is it very spicy, brother?
It's spicy, but
It's spicy, but not too spicy.
Nice.
It's very helpful to grate a little bit of ginger extra, fresh ginger. Oh, it's so yummy. We discovered it again, so like I'm drinking chai every day. Apropos chai, I put on the urni outside, and there are cups and there is tea. So if you like to kind of hang out a little bit, it's a bit cold outside, but
I can't come for tea.
no, you cannot come for tea. You have to do your tea at home. But thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the evening and a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you.